Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We were talking about the graphics GUI of the Java. Today we do it programmatically, we saw we got an AWT and we got a swing. Okay, in AWT we have 12 packages and swing got 18 packages, and uh, it's somewhat same in swing what we have in AWT. Only thing is we put up the J in front to differentiate between the AWT and the swing packages or swing components. For example, we have button, we say J button, okay? And in AWT, we had just a button, admit Faizan. Okay, here we have a J buttons and all that. But I told you in a general, we'll do it in a code and you'll understand it. I told you in general that we have firstly a frame, okay? And now we will call it as a J frame in our swing. We call it J frame. A frame is nothing but a window. It has all these things. Okay, it may have the icons, it may have a title here, and the components, if you want to put in, you can put it in here on the frame. So first thing in the code you will have is what is called as a J frame. Okay, when you created the J frame, you can put on the components on it. Okay, then when you put on the components in it, then you have to do the event driven programming. For example, if you have buttons and all, we will use the action listener. So I may implement the action listener interface on it, right? Does it make sense? Simple as it is. So the thing is that first, so what steps I will have? The first step I will have is to create a J frame. It's like you want to paint something. What do you do? What do you need first? You need the easel or the painting paper or a board on which you can paint, you can write. So that is our J frame. Okay, so without frame there will be nothing. So you have to first create a J frame, simple, then create a component on it. Second, third is put up some action listening on it, put up some event handling on it, so that if you click the button, what you want to do on a button, that thing. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Does it make sense? So what we'll do first, the first thing you will do is, Afrin Bashir is here. What you will do first, the first you will create a frame, and we call it what? Repeat back. Don't sit like carrots there. So we have a J frame. So we'll create a J frame. Either we create simply an instance of J frame, or I make my class as an child class of J frame, then my class is automatically a J frame. You can extend the J frame, or you can create directly an object of J frame, because J frame is a class itself. Either you will extend your class, you will extend from the J frame, number one, or you can have a simple class and you create an object of a J frame, and eventually you need some kind of an object of a J frame so that you can call it. Now, how you call it? You just make it visible. You just make it visible, because by default it's not visible. You have to make it visible, and that's it. So if I directly go into the code, then I will show you here. Is this visible? This, because I'm doing it on this screen today. Is the screen visible? This Eclipse?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Maybe I create a new package. Call it graphics. Say finish. In the graphics, create new class. Maybe I call it GUI. GUI. And I have got a public static main in it. Say finish. Sharik Ahmed is here. Other guys, open up your webcams. Okay, open up your webcams. Don't stay like that. Sharik and Faizan. So I got a GUI class, and I got my main. Okay, and in the main, after the main, I will create the first thing, but also one thing should be there, that is the layout. Okay, the layout also has to be there. You have to, if you want, so I said you want to create a frame, we call it in swing J frame. then you want to put components on it, but how those components will behave, it depends upon the layout. Okay, so if by default you see there's a stack layout. Stack layout means the one component will be here, second component will be on top of it, the one component will take whole space, the second component will be on top of it, third component will be on top of it. So you can at one time see only one component. So you have to specify the layout, so either border layout or flow layout, we usually do it, or border layout or grid layout or null layout or any layout, such that you can show the components on the container. Who is container? Who's the container? The frame. पिछली बार भी तो पढ़ा हमने ये सारी चीजें. It seems you guys have no interest of learning. Only thing is you are good in talking only. I don't understand why you're not answering back. So what I told you first thing, what should I first thing I do? I create an object of JFrame. Maybe I call it my frame equals to new JFrame. Let me create a new JFrame. Okay, so I created just a one window. If I give it a go, it will not be visible at all. So it's not visible. It's nowhere. Why? Because it is not visible. Afrin Bashir has come up. Because it's not visible. I can set title to this. I can do a lot of things to this. But first thing is it's not visible. Okay. So I should make it visible. So what could be the the method which makes visible? It's simple. Because what is the name of my window? JFrame I created. What's the name of that? My frame. I created the name of that is my frame. I created an object. The my frame is pointing to that JFrame. Okay. So I say here my frame dot set visible. Have I done something wrong? My frame yeah, na? My frame dot, I don't know why it's not showing it. JFrame, I say my frame equals to new JFrame. Okay, now I want to say that this my frame, okay, it's not showing. Why is it not showing? Can anyone tell me? Because first of all, what I need to do is I need to create an instance of this graphics class. I need to create an object of this graphics class. Maybe I say new. I can create an instance, or I can create an anonymous instance without some name. Or I could say GUI of OB1 equals to new GUI. Or I can say new GUI simply. So what is a new GUI doing? It's creating an object without a name because I don't need the reference of it. So it is the new GUI, which is doing what? Which is creating an instance of this object. Now, if I say my frame dot set, what I said, set visible. Okay, and true. Now there is some issue because what is the issue? Let me see. Because I don't understand myself. What's the issue here? Why is it not showing up? If I created this JFrame, my frame equals new. Okay, but the question is where I want to create it. Shazbir has come up. So this thing, I can do it in the main, or I can do it in a constructor. So better is to create in a constructor when this will be called, because I'm not calling it. So let me create this thing in a constructor. Okay. So I'm creating this thing in a constructor. So I'm creating a constructor here. And in a constructor, I'm creating JFrame. My frame equals to new JFrame. And then I am saying it is still having some issues. Let me see. Set focus, set title, set visible. Yeah, V capital. Now it's working fine. So that means this will be created when the instance of GUI is created like this. Instance of GUI is created. I am doing anonymous object creation. That means I'm not creating the name of the object. Now usually we create it like this: JFrame, my frame equals to new JFrame. Same way we should have said GUI, whatever reference name equals to new GUI. But now I am using, because I don't need the reference variable, I'm creating an anonymous object, or you could create a straight object. Okay, new GUI. Now here I am creating a frame and I am setting its visibility to true. Now it should work fine and should give us some kind of a frame. And that is here, as you could see. Okay, here. Now I got a window which was having 0 size. So this is my J frame, okay, or a container, which has these, this is not nothing but a window. It has the close button, it has the maximize, minimize, and it can have a title here, and your components, they can be on it. So if I cross it, you see, if I cross it, close it, if I close it, it's not closing. The window is closed, but program is not closed. As you could see, still they're red. So I have to manually close it. You understand what I'm saying? This is I have to do something for it. So if I'm running it, it is coming on a top here, as you could see. Okay, this is here. I can drag it to open it a little bigger. Is it visible? Now, if I close it, it's not getting closed. So I have to write for its closure. What should I do on close of it? I should do something for it. Okay. So if I close it, it's still not closing. Program is not closing. So I will terminate it manually. So I have to do something. So firstly, I will try to have a size of this JFrame. I can have a location of this JFrame. Okay, I can have a title of this JFrame. Maybe I call this my frame dot title. I should say set title, right? Set title, and write something on a title. Java Swing Learning. Okay, maybe I put up this title there, and maybe I put up the size on it. Okay, I say my frame. I'm just doing on the container, जिस पे मैं अपने components डालूंगा. मैं इस container की बात कर रहा हूँ, window की बात कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है ना? My frame dot set size. Okay, इसको size कुछ रखते हैं, रखेंगे 400 300 की. Okay, whatever. My frame dot set location. अब कहाँ पे लोकेल नहीं, लोकेशन, लोकेशन, या आप कहाँ पे इसको रखना चाह रहे हो? चलो हम रखते हैं इसको, शुरू करते हैं इसको 400 300 पर ही करते हैं इसको, यानी कि 300x, 400x एंड 300y, यानी कि आप ये 400 300 पोजीशन पे आ जाएगा. इसका साइज होगा इन पिक्सल्स 400 by 300. ओके, इसका टाइटल हो रहा है इस वक्त जावा स्विंग लर्निंग. Let us try to see it if it happens so. Okay, as you could see, title has come up Java Swing Learning. It is size is now not 0 size, and it was not, initially it was positioned on the top 0 0 location. Now it is positioned at 400 300. You understand? If you change it, you say 400 500, you will see it will go little down. If I say no 400 300, okay, but I get here 500 or 600, I get, so it will go on a X 600. It will move more on the right, as you could see. If I increase it to say 800, it will move more on X. So this is where you want this window to be. Now you can see, you can move, so you can have control of it. So where do you want to have it and all that? Okay. So now I am saying that if I close it, it's not getting closed. As you could see, it's still running. Okay. I can change that by saying that what you want to do about closing. So about the closing, we may have my frame So what you want to do on the closing? Okay, so what you want to do on the closing is you can make it close, you can make it do nothing, you can make it do nothing, you can make it close, you can make it say for example cross kiya ye close hi nahi ho raha, so that's called do nothing, that's called what. And we also have a layout here, we can put up the layout on it. Okay, so right now I'm saying my frame dot j frame, what's that called, uh, my frame dot on exit on close, but I will say not my frame dot, I have to say j frame, j frame dot exit on close. Right now I'm saying general property of j frame, or whatever the j frame I have, what should you do on the exit on close? Okay, you can say dot exit on close, or you could say do nothing. Like for example I say dot, then I say like they're saying exit on close. Okay, or I could say here do nothing, do nothing on close. So, okay, j frame dot do nothing on close. Okay, that do nothing whatsoever on the close. So whenever you close, do nothing to it. So that means when I variable declaration, what is it saying? Once again, how we write it is, if I say my frame, but I should say j frame, yeah, j frame dot exit on close, but it's showing still some kind of an error. But why is an error? Exit on close. Okay, wait a second, let me see it. I just forgot the syntax of it. I will just get in my brain. What is it? Firstly, now I have done location, I have done this thing. Now I will put up a layout. If I don't put up a layout and I try to put up some buttons on it. Okay, maybe I will put up some better buttons on it. Maybe I will create a button. I will say J button. Okay, btn1 equals to new. Firstly, maybe I will create a label. Before I create a button, I may create a label called J label LBL equals to new J label, and I'm putting inside of it some label text. So I will say click me to go to heaven. For example, I'm saying click me to go to the heaven. Okay, this is a label. Now merely creating a label will not, I'm creating a label object. Now the thing is to add this label object on your J frame. Okay, so for that I will say my frame dot add, and a component this time is LBL. So I create this label. Now if I give it a go, now I will have one label on it that is called as click me to go to heaven. This is a label. Okay, now I want to create a button on it. Say for example, now I want to create a button. I say J button btn is equal to new J button, and the text on that button is maybe heaven. Okay, now I give it a go, and it's not seen, it's not visible. Why is this not visible? Because by default we have what's called as a card layout. In a card layout we have a one object and we stack next object on it. Okay, what's happening here is the one component is taking the whole J frame. This click me to go to heaven is taking up the whole space of this, and after that button that was there, but it is on the back, it is also taking the whole space, so it's not visible. So that means we need what? We need a layout manager, okay, which can lay them out. So I can create a layout, okay. So maybe before doing all this thing, I will create a layout for this, okay. Here, okay, I will say of type flow layout, my layout equals to new layout, flow layout, okay. Now I got the flow layout. Now I put up this my frame dot set layout, my frame dot set layout, yeah. So what is it showing? Yeah, set layout, my frame dot set layout, this my layout, my capital L layout, yes. Now I created a flow layout and added that to my frame. Now you could see the stack, it's not now no more the card layout, it is now the flow layout, which will do adjacent, which will keep the components on adjacent side. Now I can have a both, you will see we'll have both things here. But it's still not having button. Can anyone tell me why we not have button still? Because we created a button, object, but what is missing? What is missing? You have created a button object, but you have not put it on the frame. So you need to put this button object on the J frame. So how we do that? Like we added the label on it. Likewise, we have to add up this my frame dot add btn1. We have not added it. इसलिए वो दिखाता नहीं है. So let's go it, give it a go. Now you could see click me to go heaven, and there is a button called heaven. But if I don't use this layout, my frame layout, okay, I don't have a layout on my this manager. Now you could see there is a heaven, the button comes on a top, because the last object comes on, it is stacked. I told you it's stacked, okay. There is a first that label, after the button, they take up the whole space of the layout of this form, or this frame, or this window, okay. So you created, for example, a label that was here, and after it came the button, which take up the whole space, because by default we have what layout? By default we have card layout. By default we have what? Open up your mics. Why are you not opening up your mics? Because by default we have card layout, and now I am saying here my frame dot set layout, my layout, and my layout here is a flow layout, which keeps the things adjacent. Now you could see here it is getting up things nicely. But you could also say here, if you don't want, if you want only the jitne components hai utne hi aapki window size ho, then you can say here my frame dot pack, means pack them together, keep whatever the components are, keep that much big window, okay, like this. If you give it a go, now you have the window, the frame here, which has a title and which has click me to go to heaven, and there is a heaven button, and rest of the thing is cut off, truncated, because it pack it to the components. Does it make sense? Now I will add up another button. So how I will add another button? I will use J button, say for example btn2 equals to new J button, okay. Maybe I call this button as hell. Before that, I may also add up a label, okay. I may also add up a label. I say J label lbl2 equals to new J label, and give it a text that click it to go to hell, whatever. So I want to go to heaven or hell. It depends upon these labels. And I created the second label, I'll create a second button. If I give it a go, it is showing me, what will it show? It will show only one label and one button. Why so? Why not the second one?
Sir, add करने ना.
It has to add. We have to add simple as it is. So if you can't add it, it will not show. So if you wanna, this is a label 2, you got to say jframe dot add. jframe dot add. One second, sir. Hina coming.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर.
Walaikum salam, Hina. Kya haal hai? Theek?
जी सर, शुक्र अल्लाह
I'm
का. सर
in
आप ठीक?
live class right now, huh?
जी सर.
Okay. I will call you back. So I should not say jframe. I should say my frame. I should say what? My frame, whatever the object name is, dot add. Okay. And LBL2. So what else you want to show? You want to show LBL2. Now LBL2 will be there. So after creating an object, I am saying my frame dot add, and add what? The component on a container. Container is this window, and you want to add this time the button second. Okay. Now I got it. I got couple of labels and couple of buttons on the table. Click me to go to heaven, and there is a heaven button. But why is btn2 is still not there, right? It is there, but because I have packed it here, I should not pack it here. Rather, I should pack it down, because मैंने पहले ही पैक कर दिया ना उसके हिसाब से. तो इसलिए उसने बटन जो था वो, तो मैं इसको नीचे ही करूंगा ना, कंट्रोल लास्ट में करना चाहिए, ताकि वो पैक करे उन दोनों के साथ. ठीक है ना? Now I got both of these. Now if I say heaven and if I say hell, I click them, nothing happens. What's happening? So I got a container. Listen, I got a container. I got a container. That is my JFrame. Simple. It's very simple. It's like painting. I got a container. That is my JFrame. Okay. So I create an object of JFrame and add it. And then I add things on it. I add components on it, like button, label, whatever. Right now, we have two things only, label and button. Put it on the frame. Okay. And also the third thing we did was a layout. If I don't specify the layout, then there will be a card layout. That means one over the other. The things will be posted one over the other. Okay. So you can see only one object, one component at a one time. So if I say flow layout, then it will flow the things and adjust them side by side. Okay. You can put them in a grid. You can put them in a border layout and all that. But the question now is, it is not happening. I am trying to click it. Nothing happens. Why so? Why is nothing happening? Because I have not done any event handling. So now what should I next do? I should do the event handling, right? So Kaun and Shifi, what we did first? We added what?
Sir, heaven button.
No, first thing, when we start doing graphics, we created first what?
Layout.
No.
Frame.
Frame. We created first the J frame, the frame. Okay. Then we set its size, we set its location, we set its title, we may set later its icon also. And we can also specify a lot of things about this frame, but this is only a window, empty window. After we created window, we started creating our what? The components, because this was a container class. Okay, the J frame. Now we started creating it as components. Components are like buttons, text boxes, labels, and all those. And then add that to my frame. And also have a layout which will give them adjacent or whatever layout we have, like flow layout. We created an object of flow layout which makes them adjacent side by side. Otherwise, by default, it's a card layout which will stake it over one over other. So we can see only one thing at a time. Now, what will be the next thing we should do? Farsha. Farsha and Arshina many times tell you to show up your faces. It's not good to show not show you your faces. Okay. So Farsha, what should we do next? We should add up the event handling. We should add up event. Yes, we should add up event handling. So in event handling, how we add up the event handling is we'll make it implement, because I told you if there's a menu or there is buttons, we have to implement. What should we implement? Can anyone tell me? Yes. A se aayega. C se.
Action listener.
Action listener.
Action listener. Exactly, because action listening is the interface which is being action listening is the interface which is being used to have what? To have kind of an action listening to it. So that means, and we have one method. I told you there's a method. Can you tell me what's the method which will be used by the action listener interface? You have to implement it, because when I say interface, it's an interface. That's why I'm saying implements. So there must be a method which you have to override, right? It's obligatory to your class to implement that method, because we have only the method declarations in the interfaces, right? So what should be the name of that method? You should be knowing it. Kal hi maine bataya na parson usme.
Action performed.
Action performed. Very good. So if I do it here and I say add unimplemented methods, so it will implement action performed method. It will implement action performed. Action performed is a method. So we have add up the action listening here. So action listener interface से क्या होता है कि आपने ये method कर दिया, ठीक है? But you have to add action listening to the particular component also. So for example, आपके पास क्या है? Button है ना आपके पास. So you have to say btn1 dot add action listener. Say for example here I want to add both of these buttons as an action listener. So I have to say btn1 dot add action listener, and I send it current object, because my current object is actually having the implementation of the action listener. So let the current objects act button handle the action, handle the events by calling the add action listener. So add action listener means we are telling, bro, if I click it, do something. What will it do? Done something. You will be taken to this action performed method. So whenever the button will be clicked, you will be performed. You will go to the action performed. Okay. Same thing you will do with the btn2. btn2 dot add action listener. What's happening here? btn2, is it there? btn2 or btn it is? btn2 dot add action listener and send it the current object. Now what by doing this is I am saying that my btn1 and btn2 should be checked for clicks and all of those things. And what will happen is buttons have one action listener is an implement that you have to implement, and the method which is being there is action performed. So whenever the button is clicked, you will be taken to this method. So whenever the button is clicked, you will be taken to this method. So whatever you do with the button, you will be taken to this method. Okay. So that means if I do it here, not graphical, I just do character basic system dot out dot println, which I don't have to do like that, but I'm just trying to show you things. I'm println, and I'm saying I am clicked, but I have to deal with it graphically. No, I'm not dealing graphically. I'm just trying to show you that whenever you click a button, okay, this action performed method will be called. Okay, and you see just here the console. Okay, on the right, you say heaven, I am clicked. You say hell, I am clicked. So no matter what you do with this, okay, on this hell button or whatever you do on this, you click on the button heaven and hell. Basically, you are taken to this method. Where you are taken to this method, action performed method. Okay, simple. So if you want to do something on the click, that code you have to write it here. Simple as it is. But now we have to figure it out that which button is being clicked. Is button 1 clicked or button 2 clicked? Okay, na? So because I have to figure it out, and that is in my E. So whosoever is clicked, that has gone into the action event E. The object created is here. So I will create here an object, simply create an object, general object. Okay, I create here an object. I'm saying give me an object, create an object. Okay, maybe I call it OB equals to, and what I put into OB is whatever is in E dot get source. So see what happened. Whenever you clicked on button 1,